Hi Nick, how's it going? Firstly, thank you so very much for doing this podcast. Really appreciate you talking to me about yourself and about Chalhoub Group and Soulmates. And 2023 has been much better than at least, let's say, 2022. So I just wanted to check base on, how are things looking out for you and also for the project that you're currently working on.
First and foremost, thank you so much for having me, George. It's the pleasure is all mine to be your guest at your podcast. My day is going great. I think it's a bit similar to all the other days right now. I wake up and I immediately check Discord, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp to check up on the community that we're building around Soulmates. As people might know, when you go into Web3, your 12-hour job becomes a 24-hour job, and and yeah, that's it. And I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. It's been very learnful so far to really go knees deep into an own completely new Web3 project, not an extension of a brand, but really creating new equity on top of Web3 technology. So every day I'm grateful and I'm happy that we are building, even though that it's a crypto winter, a bear market. I'm very, very happy.
You're absolutely right, and I believe this is something what Web3 does to us. And I must say that, we're recording this session at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and I must say that you're sounding absolutely energetic. And looks like this is what Web3 does to us, because there are constant updates, particularly in the field of NFTs and Metaverse. And towards the later part of the episode, I'll definitely touch base on the updates that you provide to your audience as well. Now, before we get into what Chalhoub Group Soulmates is, can you tell our listeners a bit about yourself and how you got involved in the cryptocurrency, NFT, and blockchain space? Because to be honest, when I looked at your profile, what really stood out for me is that you have a really strong academic background. You've also been head of several projects, and I've been following you on Instagram, and you are a fitness freak as well. And towards the later part of the episode, I do have a few questions related to fitness as well. So can you tell our listeners a bit about yourself and your journey getting into the NFT, blockchain, and Web3 part of space, please?
So I started, let's say, my entrepreneurial journey very early on. So when I was still a student, I started a rap group with my best friend, and that early on became a minor success. Let's say we self-published our album, and from early on, I didn't really want to become the artist per se. I enjoyed being the businessman more. Next to that, so I always had Jay-Z in my mind as my idol. So he was he's one of the greatest rappers on stage, but I think he's by far the best entrepreneur in the rap game, let's say. And I wanted to mimic that a little bit. So being an artist on the one hand, label manager on the other hand. So we started a label for our own group, then onboarded other artists that I knew from the industry, and then we went from to just to keep it short, from a label. I pivot or extended that into a booking agency with DJs and other artists. Then started organizing events because we had the artists in the agency anyway. And then from an event organization with booking agency, then took over a nightclub when I was 19, 20 years old in my hometown, Roeselare in Belgium. All of a sudden, was 20 years old, I had a nightclub. I already dropped out of school back then, so you're probably the first person who said that I have a strong academic background. I don't think so, but I dropped out of school, did the nightclub, then after a year, left the nightclub, sold my part to someone else, then went back to school, finished a degree in communications with a specialization in advertising and PR, and then became a consultant. Went into business consulting from the trainee to junior consultant, senior consultant to head of growth, and then even managing director of the value consulting in the Middle East. Set up the firm here in the Middle East, and then after 2 years, I joined Chalhoub Group, became head of growth for Chalhoub. And then I think a year and a half ago, I took the role or accepted the role as head of corporate innovation at Chalhoub Group.
That is really interesting, and I really like the fact that you mentioned about Jay-Z, who I definitely think is one of the OGs so far as rap music is concerned. And one thing which pops into my mind is 50 Cent, because I've watched his interviews, and one thing which I noticed is that when he does his interviews, he often refers to his audience as clients and not fans, which I think is absolutely great considering the fact that the music that he plays, but he's extremely professional, and I generally feel that most of the rappers definitely take business very seriously. And I'm pretty much sure, you have incorporated that learning, particularly mixing music. So the big question, Nick, is Chalhoub Group, which is an absolute giant in the luxury goods retailer section and distributor as well, has recently entered the NFT and metaverse arena. So tell our listeners, Nick, its role in the NFT and the metaverse space.
Mm-hmm. So maybe one step back. Chalhoub Group is the largest retailer and distributor of luxury fashion and beauty in the Middle East. Over 65 years in the making now. We're partners with LVMH, Coty, Puig, and so on. So we represent their brands such as Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior Couture, perfumes as well, Louboutin, Givenchy, Celine, Fendi, Loewe, Sephora, and so on. We operate their stores and e-commerce. But our role in the whole Web3, or how do I see our relationship with all of this, is we are market leaders and shapers. So we're not only leading the market, we're also shaping the market. And it is our responsibility to make sure that we that we pursue new trends, new innovations. So one of our biggest objectives is providing luxury experiences to our customers anywhere and everywhere. We did that in Web 1. We're doing that in Web 2. And it is our ambition to do that in Web 3 as well. Not following the market, so we're not going to wait until others start doing it, but actively experimenting, testing, learning, and deploying. And we've done a couple of experiments. And what we're doing now is launching a couple of initiatives that are beyond the experimentation, beyond PR value, beyond marketing plays, but really pursuing new projects that have significant business models, and that might be a next chapter for Chalhoub Group even.
That's absolutely brilliant, Nick. And what I really liked is that you said that Chalhoub Group is trying to shape the industry, and the fact that you've been in the industry for well over half a century. Not only does it help Dubai, UAE, and Middle East, but Chalhoub Group getting into the NFT and metaverse space definitely helps the cryptocurrency, blockchain, and Web3 ecosystem as well.
100%. That's absolutely our ambition. So it's not a secret that at Chalhoub Group we're super ambitious, and we want to grow beyond the region. So we don't only want to be the regional leader, which we already are since for more than 50 years. We also want to become a global leader and a brand owner. So as you might know, we own Christoffel, the leading silverware company, which is a global company. We acquired Threads Styling, which is headquartered in the UK. So we have ambitions that span further than just the GCC, and we believe that Web3 is also one of those translations of our global ambitions, right? So shaping the market beyond the borders of the Middle East. So I'm happy that this is something that you see, George, and I'll take this as a compliment. Thank you.
Absolutely, Nick. And when you talk about Dubai as a city, one of the visions of Sheikh Hamdan is for Dubai to be the number one city in the world so far as Web 3.0 is concerned. And so far as Metaverse is concerned, Dubai wants to be the top 10 city in the world so far as Metaverse is concerned. And it's really great to see that companies such as Chalhoub Group is definitely taking the lead. And I'm pretty much sure in the next coming years, Dubai will definitely have a massive say, not just in the Web3 Metaverse space, but also in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space. And I've been living in Dubai, and I've noticed that, Dubai always over-delivers on its promises. Now, keeping all these things in mind, can you tell our listeners what is it that Chalhoub Group has in mind so far as NFT is concerned, and what direction is it leading towards the metaverse space as well?
Okay, so I think the kind of plans that we had, as I already said, so We started experimentation last year with Christoffel, the brand that we own fully, because it's easier to navigate with the other brands where we represent them in the Middle East. We need to have an alignment with their HQ on a global level, which makes it a bit harder. They own the IP, so it's not that easy to say that let's create virtual art with your brand and then sell it here or sell it even across the world. So we decided to do something with Christoffel. We launched our own NFT collection with them, sold them out in 5 minutes, and that with a bit of utility behind it. But maybe we can talk about that later if you want to. But it was a great test. It was a great not test. It was a great first step into NFT space to get to know everything. In partnership with Exclusible, and I will always admit that they've done a lot of the heavy lifting there for us because we were noobs back then. It was the purpose to learn. We learned a lot, and then we did a second project at the end of last year with Level Shoes and Lanvin, where we launched a digital sneaker. So Level Shoes created a physical sneaker together with Lanvin for the 10-year anniversary of Level Shoes. We decided to create a like a virtual sneaker, a digital twin. So anyone who bought the physical sneaker could claim the virtual counterpart and wear it in metaverse environments like Decentraland. And yeah, after the Christoffel drop, we already had something like, okay, this was a major success. What else can we do, or what more can we do in terms of impact on the industry, on our business? And then slowly but surely, Soulmates came to its inception in a completely different shape and form back then. And then after the Level Shoes drop, the virtual sneaker, everything clicked together. All the ideas that we had, and we said, you know what, let's create a sneaker brand from scratch, but a Web3 native sneaker brand. And as I already said, so the our mindset has shifted. So 2022 was more a year of test and learn and experimentation and getting some PR out of it for our brands and a little bit of revenue here and there. Get to know the Web3 user, the mindset, the tactics, the technologies, and so on. And 2023 has been a year of professionalizing, of maturing, of looking for business models, bringing Web3 more and more to the core. From let's say from a perspective where we launch a new business model, Soulmates, that is standalone, if I can explain it like that. And then I think going forward, there's a couple of actions that we might take depending on what's going to happen with Soulmates. On the one hand, fortify and accelerate Soulmates. That is by far the most important thing at this stage. Number two will be to use those learnings and apply them to our existing business units, such as Level Shoes, Faces, Trano, but also our franchise and JV partners. And number three will be to create more models like Soulmates, but in different categories. We are the leader in luxury fashion here. We're the leader in luxury beauty here. So there are multiple things that we could do. Soulmates is a Web3 native sneaker brand, but we might as well create a Web3 native beauty brand and a Web3 native fashion brand. But step by step, because it all requires focus and attention. And right now, Soulmates is our baby, and a baby, as you might know, needs a lot of attention and love and care, and that's what we're doing right now.
Thank you so very much for that insightful information. Now, so far as Soulmate is concerned, you are the one who's spearheading the project. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritties of Soulmates, can you tell our listeners how did you come about with the name of Soulmates? Because it is a really interesting and a really catchy name as well, particularly for NFT space. And what was the reasoning behind the name?
It's so you have soulmates, as in more than customers and more than friends. What is the highest that you can reach in terms of relationship? It's a soulmate. So it started with that, and then changing soul into sole of a shoe, of a sneaker, and then you had SOLE mates, and then instead of the E, we flipped it and made it a 3, referring to Web3, obviously. So that's how the name Soulmates came to life. So yeah, nothing more, nothing less than that.
Now, this is absolutely brilliant marketing idea, and I really like the reasoning of coming up with the name. Now, before we get into the technical details of Soul 3 Mates is, and what is it that it offers, what I wanted to ask is, Nick, earlier in the year, Chalhoub Group did actually publish a report, which was called as GCC, the State of Metaverse and its Potential for Luxury Retail. And when I read through the report, Nick, there were three things which particularly stood out for me. And the first one was the involvement of Chalhoub Group with, let's say, the Sandbox Alpha Season 3, the NFT launch with Level Shoes, and you also mentioned about the demographics, which stood at 45%, particularly in the Middle East, which is under the age of 30 years old. And I do remember at the inauguration, the CEO of Dubai Future Foundation, His Excellency Khalfan Baloul, did actually mention that the Middle East is strategically placed so far as the future of Web3 blockchain and artificial intelligence is concerned. And the report also did touch base about some real crucial data on Web3 startup as well. So talk to us, Nick, how did that report come about and where did you get all that information? And was that one of the reasons why Chalhoub Group decided to venture into the NFT and metaverse space?
Mm-hmm. So maybe twofold. So why we did this, we wanted to understand the local markets in a more data informed way. Innovation is not just coming up with a crazy idea and throwing it out there in a lean way and see if it works. It's also using data and seeing or looking for the opportunity based on the numbers that you can see. But that data was nowhere present. It didn't exist. So we took the action in own hands, and that is then again that market shaping identity or part of our identity at Chalhoub Group, where we say, okay, let's do a research and also publish it for everyone. So let's say that I got the numbers maybe 1 month before the public, and then the audience could just see the same numbers as I and the extended team could see. So that's why we did it. We wanted to understand the market in a better way, and then also share those insights. People might, or people in the business in the Middle East, in fashion and beauty, know Chalhoub Group as a company that does frequent research and publishes its reports for everyone. We could sell those for a lot of money, but we don't do that because we want everyone to see these insights and learn from it and build on top of it. We believe that growing the pie together makes more sense than keeping it small and having 100% of that pie. So we rather have a big slice of a bigger pie than all the slices of a small pie. And the same vision we had for Web3 and GCC and the metaverse. And we surveyed 1,600 luxury customers in UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Oman, Bahrain, and Qatar, and asked them for the adoption rate in terms of crypto, NFTs, and metaverse. And as you said, yeah, it was a very positively surprising outcome. High adoption rate of crypto, a lot of awareness around crypto actually, high adoption rate for all the three pillars, both for crypto, for NFTs, and for metaverse environments. And across the board, a very positive outlook. Although what you would see in the market, although there's a crypto winter, although we're saying we are actually in a bear market, and inflation is skyrocketing and so on, there is a positive outlook. So for us, this was important to understand the kind of size and feeling of the market to see if we were on the right track. And yeah, I think we are. I think we are on the right track. And this is a bit of an extra proof point that people are getting ready. We are not there yet, 100% not, but it isn't a trend that is irreversible. And with this report, we also wanted to show to our global partners that locally, as you said as well, George, that the region is an amazing opportunity for global brands to look at, where in the past the US and Asia were more important, and then Europe, and then the Middle East maybe was a fourth or actually a fifth market. All of a sudden, when it comes to crypto, NFTs, and metaverse, the Middle East is a market that none of our brands are ignoring. And actually, a lot of them are visiting. A lot of them are jumping on calls with our team to understand, okay, what are you guys doing with Christoffel, with Level Shoes, with Soulmates? How can we leverage? How can we work together? So the tables are turning, and I think Sheikh Hamdan had an amazing point on that. And I do believe that the city, the country, and the region will succeed in its mission to become a front runner.
Thank you so very much for that, and I do believe that Dubai as a city does have this habit of always over-delivering on its promises. So now, Nick, the big question is, what is Soulmates, and can you share some information about the founding members of the team as well?
So, without making it maybe too technical or whatever, it's actually very easy. So, imagine if you were there when Virgil Abloh created his first off-white sneaker. And you could buy an NFT to celebrate that moment and to become part of the inner circle of Virgil. And with that NFT, you could get a wide range of benefits and perks. You get a guaranteed free access to all the future collections that he would have made or would make. You get a lifetime discount on all the items that come out of the Off-White brand. You get behind the scenes content. You get free shipping, priority delivering ahead of the public. You get meet and greets with him and his team. You get involvement in the collections. You can co-create products together. Now imagine all of that, but that didn't exist. So we thought, why don't we create this? Why don't we create a new sneaker brand where people can get an OG NFT and become part of that inner circle for as long as they hold the NFT. And that's what Soulmates is all about. That was the idea that clicked for us, and we're now building the sneaker brand of the future, born from Web3 using Web3 technology, where people can buy the OG NFT, become part of our friends and family, and become lifetime members of our inner circle.
And I really like the fact that you kept the name as OG NFT, and I'm pretty much sure this has some roots with the kind of rap music that you were listening to. So definitely something really unique and catchy. Now, one question that I have, Nick, is that I was going to the FAQ section on the website, and it says that one can still use the email address, and the NFT wallets will be done later on, and that you can also make your payments with credit cards or debit cards, and not necessarily with cryptocurrencies. So my question is twofold. What was the decision-making process in doing that? And am I right in saying that some people would say that it's kind of going backwards from Web 3.0 to Web 2.0? So can you explain to our listeners what was the decision-making process in doing that?
Yes. Actually, it might be a little bit confusing, but what we want to say is that as you don't need you don't need crypto, you don't need an NFT wallet to become part of our ecosystem. So you can easily just use an email address and pay with your credit card. What we do in the back end is then create a wallet for you on your behalf, where we can then put the NFT or issue the NFT in on your behalf. So with a magic link, we can easily create a wallet on your behalf, and then you can finalize the transaction on your own tempo and speed. So what we're trying to do here is to be as accessible as possible to our Web2 audience, because we're targeting sneakerheads as well, and we're creating beautiful sneakers. So people who are listening, please check it out. Sol3mates.xyz. We're creating beautiful sneakers. All the sneakerheads that I know myself and just everyone out there internationally has fallen in love with the sneaker design. And it would be a shame that true sneakerheads cannot buy it because it's kind of blocked through NFTs and they don't have crypto or an NFT wallet. So that's why we choose for an accessible solution for them, while we still stand on the Web3 fundamentals and technology. Because we do want to have on-chain verification of our shoes. We want to our sneakers are equipped with NFC technology, where then the owner of the shoe can claim the NFT NFT that is linked to that NFC. We do believe in all of that. So it's a Web3 brand or a Web3 native brand. So we won't allow people to just create an email login and a password, and that's it. It's Connect Wallet. That's Web3. It's not a login.
Now that explanation does make a lot of sense, and I'm thinking of it, let's say, from a user point of view. You don't need to necessarily get into the hassles of, understanding and learning about your private keys and public keys, so definitely brilliant stuff. And I'm not sure that Spartan Race, they have released an unbreakable pass, and initially they wanted to do it only on cryptocurrencies, but later on they realized, based on the comments via Discord, that a lot of people wanted the pass, but they did not want to actually use the cryptocurrencies. So I really like the explanation that you just gave. And one thing which you touched base upon is about people who collect sneakerheads. Personally, I have well over 73 pairs of Nike shoes, so I can definitely relate to it. And one thing which I've experienced is people now into sneakerheads. They're definitely into NFTs, and there's some kind of commonality. So what I'm going to do is in the show notes below, I'll definitely go ahead and mention all the details for Soulmates and all the launch details as well. Now the next question is regarding the launch date. Now you had scheduled the launch on the 12th of this month, which coincided with Ethereum Shanghai upgrade as well. So how did the launch go? Was there any hiccups or were there any challenges?
The launch, you mean?
Yeah.
It went great. So just to clarify, what we've done is we launched or revealed all the details of our NFT drop, the OG NFT for Soulmates, which will be available for pre-sale on the 4th of May for on the whitelist, and then for public from the 5th through the 7th of May. For 0.03 ETH for people who are interested, sneakerheads / Web3 degens. If you want in, then soulmate.xyz is the place to go. The launch went really well. So to be honest, on the 20th of March, we introduced Soulmates to the wider audience, and we launched the concept of Soulmates. And the 12th of April, we revealed all the or announced our OG NFT drop. Plus revealed our first sneaker, the Sirocco 1, which is created together with Kassimi Latamen, big sneaker designer in the industry. So everything went really smooth. We went to NFT NYC, so we revealed everything in New York. Met a lot of sneakerheads, met a lot of people from the industry, a lot of ambassadors as well from Soulmate. So it went really well. It was great to actually see that. Overseas, people are really bullish on Soulmates. It's kind of crazy because when you're in your bubble in Dubai, you see people on Twitter and on Discord, but yeah, it's different when you go to New York and all of a sudden you see people wearing Soulmates socks. You have an ambassador meetup and all of a sudden you see these people in front of you. So yeah, honestly, I cannot complain. Everything is going really well.
Yes, and I did see a press release in Arab News which did actually state about 1,110 lucky NFT owners who are currently living in UAE and Saudi Arabia, and looks like they are going to be upgraded to some kind of Sapphire tier membership of Muse, right?
Okay. So so maybe the details of the OG NFT drop. We will have 10,000 NFTs available, max supply 10k at 0.03 ETH. And we have 4 different tiers. So we have 10 friends and family. We will have 100 gold box owners, 1,000 silver box owners, and then the rest of the supply are OG NFTs. And those 1,110 silver, gold, and friends and family will get a tier upgrade of Muse, our loyalty program, our Chalhoub Group. So I think this is a great example of how we're trying to merge the Web 2 aspects of Chalhoub Group with the Web 3 aspects of Soulmates. In the future, we'll do plenty more of surprising and cool stuff for the holders of our OG NFT, because we represent over 200 brands, and it would be stupid of us to not link the utility to our retail brands that we have in our portfolio. But in September, we can release more because we want to keep a bit of surprises, and we want to reward the OGs who dare to step in without knowing all the utility. However, I think in the light paper we're already and on the website we're already uncovering 90% and a lot of utility and perks for 0.03 ETH.
Yeah, my next question was just about to ask you about the utilities that the members of the holders of the NFT will receive, but you covered most of it as well.
I actually already said. So
Yeah.
the thing we have our own sneaker. So first and foremost, we're a sneaker brand. So in September, you will be able to pre-order our first sneaker, Sirocco One. Uh, and the only guaranteed way to have access to the sneaker is to have an OG NFT. So every OG NFT owner will get guaranteed pre-access to the sneaker, and we'll be able to pre-order it. Now, if there are any pairs of Sirocco ones left, then we will open up a pre-order window for the public. But the max supply of the sneakers equals the unique holders of our OG NFT. So let's say we have set 6,000 owners of a OG NFT, then we will cap the supply of our sneakers to 6,000. This ensures that each NFT owner can buy a pair of sneakers, and if all the holders do that, there's no pair of sneakers left for the public. Now, if there are a couple of people, let's say 100, that don't buy a pair of sneakers, then we will open a pre-order window for those remaining 100 pairs of sneakers to the public. So if you're listening or if you're out there and you think, whoa, I want to be part of this, I want to have those sneakers, yeah, your best way is to get the OG NFT, become part of our community, and then you have guaranteed access to the sneaker. You get $80 discount on the sneaker and also on our future drops. You get free shipping, you get priority delivery 1 month ahead of the eventual public who might or might not get the sneaker. You get involvement in future collections. You'll be able to meet and greet the designer. As I already said, you will have perks at our partners at Chalhoub Group. We do monthly giveaways. So we're going to raffle away the Nike Tiffany's. We're going to raffle away Travis Scott's, Lost and Found, and so on. So we're literally building the coolest sneaker community with its own brand, with its own sneaker in Web3, if you ask me.
That is absolutely brilliant, and I've definitely got to keep an eye on that. And in the near future, these OG NFTs, they can be resold as well, right?
100%. So both the sneaker and their OG NFT. Now, we don't really want to incentivize people to resell their OG NFT because, also, why would you? Honestly, imagine if you were part of Peter Moore's or Tinker Hatfield's close circle, and they issued you an NFT to be part of that close crowd. You would never. Those who actually sold that NFT would be the dumb ones, I would say. But what we try to do is, for example, with our sneakers, if you want to resell the sneakers, you will be able to do that. You will be able to resell the token of the sneaker separately from your OG NFT. So what we want to see, a little bit naively, is that the OGs remain the OGs for life, but that the reselling happens on the level of the sneaker. And as I already explained, there will be a separate NFT linked to each sneaker, which people can then start to resell and so on.
That is absolutely brilliant. And what I'm envisioning right now is, Nick, as and when Metaverse goes mainstream, these OG NFT holders, I'm pretty much sure the value would increase and they would be having a special place, particularly, let's say, in the Metaverse. So I do feel that, it is a brilliant way of handling it, and it does give some motivation to keep your NFTs and definitely not sell it, as you just said. And I do feel that, the demand and supply is very cleverly managed. And one thing which you did mention earlier is regarding ambassadors. So my question is, how can one become an ambassador of Soulmates? Are there any specific criteria that you need to meet in order to become an ambassador?
So it's actually very easy to become an ambassador. So we're looking for sneakerheads, degens, positive disruptors who want to help us in this mission. You can become an ambassador until the 1st of May. All you have to do is go to our Discord, and all the details are there. But basically, what it means is you sign up, let's say, for to help us with some quests where we ask you to retweet some of our tweets, to like some of our stuff, and to actively help us with promoting and generating visibility for Soulmates. The top 100 ambassadors based on the points they generate through the quests get guaranteed allow list, and 50 additional ambassadors also get guaranteed allow list. And anyone who registers for an ambassador spot, whether or not they get the allow list or not, they will get guaranteed silver box upgrades. If they buy the NFT. So imagine I'm ambassador 265, so I didn't make the allow list, but I bought the NFT in the public mint. I am sure that I get the upgrade to silver tier holder, so I'm in the top 11.1% rarity, which will give me a couple of cool perks, such as the upgrade in our Muse program of Chalhoub Group, which also ensures free merchandise of Soulmates, so a hoodie and socks and so on. But I can't reveal the surprise too much. So yeah, I think it's worth signing up for the ambassadorship if you are interested in becoming part of Soulmates. If you're like, I wanna, I'm interested in the OG NFT. It's a very small next step to become an ambassador. It's easy to sign up, and it's very easy to help us generate visibility. If you're in it for the right reasons, with the right intentions, it's very minimal efforts, to be honest.
Absolutely, and what I'll do is make the application in order to be an ambassador. I'll definitely go ahead and mention that in the show notes below. Now, the next question that I have is that you're using an open blockchain protocol that is Ethereum instead of, let's say, EOS, Solana, or Flow blockchain. Now, I particularly like Ethereum, but I wanted to find out from your point of view, what was the decision-making process to choose Ethereum over other blockchain protocols? And in order to mint the NFTs, you have decided to do it on exclusible.com. So can you tell our listeners, what was the decision-making process to go and choose Ethereum and to mint it on exclusible.com?
Mm-hmm. So first and foremost, Exclusible was a no-brainer to us. We've been partnering with them for the level shoes and Alvin drop that we've done with the digital sneaker. We've done the successful Christoffel drop with Exclusible. So I believe in the power of together, the power of partnerships, and I'd rather go do something successful together than to bypass your partners and then all of a sudden start to do things yourself. Plus also for Soulmates, I 100% believe that the more people involved, the better. We're here to create a community. The mission is to be the snowball that triggers positive change, an avalanche of positive change in the industry. So the more people involved, the better. And if that means that we leave money on the table, being it from a partnership side, being it towards our community, by all means, I would say, as long as we can pursue that mission of creating change, of showing that there is a different way of doing things. Now, that said, coming back to your first part of the question, why Ethereum then? I think I'm not a technical guy, so I'm not going to go too technical or too much into depth here. But we're a Web 2 company or a Web 1, 1.5, 1.75 Web 2 company. So we're a traditional luxury retailer who's incredibly good at opening stores and running stores on behalf of the biggest brands in the world. We have magnificent own stores. I think if you look at Level Shoes, unique concept, one of the best footwear stores in the world. So also in e-commerce, we're incredibly good. Web3 is a different world. It's completely new. So if we need to make a choice for a blockchain, we need to go for something that is secure, that is battle tested, that is how to say it, most accessible in terms of support, in terms of help. So if God forbid anything goes wrong, we can tap into resources more easily. So I think that is a bit why we're going for Ethereum. On the other hand, as well, I do think that Ethereum has a bit of a more, let's say, premium image than, for example, Solana or other blockchains where you have a bit more of a degen image, which is not really the let's say positioning that we are looking for both at Chalhoub Group and Soulmates. So I think that is a bit the thing, a robuster security framework, more accessible in terms of support, a bit more scalable maybe in the future as well, especially now with the Shanghai upgrade, where more developers can tap into it and so on. And the trade-off is, let's say, yeah, there's not that much trade-off actually, to be very frank. So the slower velocity, if you will, doesn't really apply to us because we're not building and we're not issuing a token, or we don't have high volumes. So we're going to issue our own NFT once, and that's kind of it. So yeah. Plus also, yeah, to look at gas fees right now, it's kind of comparable, and so the trade-off is low to pick Ethereum. The positioning makes sense, and then from a practical point of view, it just made a lot of sense.
I particularly like the fact that you've launched it via Ethereum, and when you talk about an iconic brand such as Chalhoub Group, things such as security is so critical. And Ethereum at this point of time does offer, if not one of the best security features, and the blockchain is not stopped in comparison to, let's say, Solana, which has had numerous several attacks. So definitely brilliant decision in going ahead and launching it via Ethereum blockchain. Now you also mentioned something about partnership. And are there any plans to have partnership with, let's say, Decentraland or the Sandbox or any other platform to target, let's say, a wider audience? And I'm pretty much sure if you know that Amigo Brands, they recently have a partnership with Brink, and they are kind of merging with DMCC, which is Dubai Multi Commodity Center. So are there any plans to have future partnership with, let's say, some of these iconic giants as well?
I can say that anyone who buys our physical Sirocco 1 or pre-orders Sirocco 1 sneaker will get the complimentary virtual sneaker. So for sure you will be able to wear your Sirocco 1 in the Decentraland as well. So that's a given, 100%. I can promise that, and we will deliver that for sure. Now, what I can also tell is that we are in discussions with a couple of partners to ensure interoperability. Those discussions are not with Decentraland or with Sandbox directly, but we are trying to look one level higher, where we can, as I said, assure more interoperability. So in a more scalable way, where you can access one platform and you can have your Sirocco in multiple metaverse environments. I cannot say who we're talking to, but I think you can connect the dots and figure out who we're talking about. So I think that is absolutely an exciting discussion that we're having to make sure that Sirocco is interoperable, because that's for me. If you buy a physical item, why wouldn't you be able to take it to the various virtual or digital environments that today you're already accessing, and vice versa? So absolutely, we want to stay true to the Web3 native characteristic of the brand.
Absolutely, and when you mentioned about news, now you personally constantly provide updates via WhatsApp group that you have, and every Fridays I do have an episode called as Metaverse Everything, which solely focuses on Metaverse, and I do often refer to your WhatsApp messages. And thank you so much for providing that information. So what I wanted to find out is, where do you get that information? Because it is really short and sweet, really crisp and to the point.
I should start asking royalties for the other. I'm just kidding. So I'm sorry, because the last couple of weeks or months I haven't been posting anything because I'm so focused on Soulmates now. But yeah, what I used to do, let's say before we launched Soulmates, is on a daily basis. Actually, the WhatsApp group and my LinkedIn, I used to post daily on LinkedIn as well, and that kind of forced me, or was my kind of professional excuse to block uh, let's say 30, 40 or 30 minutes per day to check the biggest websites and Twitter accounts in the industry to check for updates. So every morning I had to post something, right, on my LinkedIn. So it forced me to, when I wake up, to check Vogue Business, Business of Fashion, Decrypt, TechCrunch, and then a couple of other platforms. Uh, just for news, I had a couple of smaller websites more focusing on certain geographies. focusing on Asia, on Africa, on Latin America, on the States, and just quickly refreshing those websites, checking or on my phone in the morning during breakfast, reading the news a little bit, and after a while you get faster in skimming things, and you kind of understand, okay, what is interesting and what not. Plus, also from my side, I have a kind of framework in terms of what trends are important to us, and I think in the retail industry, if it kind of made sense, if it, for example, was something about Web3 in retail, that was like bingo. If it was circular pre-loved or something with well-being, bingo. And so if a new brand launched a biodegradable collection, okay, great, that's maybe the. And if there are two or three things, then I kind of like made made a list. What can I post today? Then what can I post tomorrow? So I have a notes a note on my phone with like 100 ideas of things that I can post if there's nothing of news. But luckily, yeah, there's so much going on in the space, not only in Web3, that there's always something to post. For people who want to stay updated, I would say follow first and foremost you, George, and then secondly follow me. And I try what I try to do is make it snackable and understandable for everyone. So you don't have to do the effort to follow all these accounts. What I try to do is just centralize one piece per day, and you should be updated about the most important things that are going on
Yeah, and what I'm really like,
in retail. In retail, so I'm focusing on retail first and foremost, because for me that's the most important thing. So I'm not going to talk about what's happening in automotive per se, only if it's something huge. But then, so yeah, that's kind of it.
and what I really like about your WhatsApp messages, it is short and sweet, crisp and to the point, rather than giving too much of information. Because what happens is when you have too much of information, you often have this habit of, ignoring a lot of these messages. So your WhatsApp messages are definitely short and sweet. And what I'll do is in the show notes below, I'll definitely go ahead and put in that WhatsApp message because I'm pretty much sure the other listeners will be benefited by it. And when you're talking about news, one of the biggest trends that is circulating and which will be building up in the next coming years is about central bank digital currencies. And as you know, Nick, that UAE is currently working on central bank digital currencies, and they are going to be here whether we like it or hate it. Now, can these NFTs be purchased in the near future or traded using central bank digital currencies? And I'm looking at the time horizon of, let's say, 3 to 5 years from now.
Well, you kind of got me there because I don't really like to predict things. I like to look at what is happening right now and just act on those things that are happening right now. CBDCs, I think let's call it digital money. Digital, like by definition is the future. So let's forget the whole connotation of crypto and trading and speculative and la 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 la. Just if you look at the history, we went from some like trading goods to then coming up with some sort of monetary fiat currency that was cash. So coins and notes that we were trading that we agreed on that had a specific value. Then we had an evolution slash revolution where we went to kind of digital money, but not decentralized. And I think we are now at the first step of moving towards a new wave, a new revolution, where we will go away from, okay, all of the money of a country is kind of linked to a reserve, and this is wink, wink. This is all the money that we have, wink, wink. And if we need more, we kind of will print more or not, so no one admits it. While with a decentralized or on a blockchain-based currency, you will have 100% transparency on what is happening. It will be more faster. It will be faster. It will be cheaper. It will allow for certain things like cross-border transactions more easily. So I think if you look at the technology, it is inevitable that a digital currencies will enter our daily lives 100%. Now, how that will look like, that's a different question. And there will be no speculation on it. It will be pegged to the fiat currency. So £1 will be one digital pound, $1 will be one digital dollar, one dirham will be one digital dirham. So the speculation, like crypto, will not translate to those digital currencies. But for sure, it will be. We will have in the far future. We will have we will have a blockchain based solution for money, because it's stupid. If you every day when I take cash, I think, why are we even why are we still using this dumb way of transacting with each other? This has nothing. Last week I was in New York. I need to convert my dirhams into dollars. Now I'm stuck with dollars. Now I need to convert them back. If I have credit card, there's so much convert and so on. It's just there's so much. It's such a hassle. So for
Absolutely.
sure, the tech is there, the pain points are there, but I don't believe that next 6 to 12 months will be the time frame. I think the next 6 to 12 years might be a better time frame.
I 100% agree on that. And one of the legends in the finance world called Ray Dalio, he often says that cash is trash, but at the same time, some of the older generation, they still believe in the value of cash. And this brings me to the next question. When you were trying to explain the NFT and Solar projects to, let's say, the key stakeholders and the board of directors, were there some kind of apprehensions or some kind of resistance to get into the NFT and metaverse space, considering the fact that, this was decided during the 2022 era, and that was the time where you had the collapse of Terra Luna, we had the collapse of FTX, and that, to be honest, did not put a positive image in the cryptocurrency and NFT space. So were there any challenges that you faced when you were trying to explain the NFTs in metaverse, particularly to some of the key stakeholders, let's say the investors and board of directors? Did they have some kind of apprehensions towards getting into the NFT and metaverse space?
Um, yeah, you always there's for any new type of technology there is some sort of an how do I put it, caution. So it's not in particular Web3 or crypto or that causes like this. Okay, but wait a minute, what is this really about, and does it make sense, and is this for us, this and that. But at the same time, as I already explained, we have the the commitment towards ourselves and towards anyone else around us to shape the markets and to be leaders. So I think as soon as we saw multiple examples of players in and outside our industry, but not here in the region, we kind of understood, okay, there's what is the worst thing that can happen, right? The worst thing that can happen is that we lose a bit of money in testing this, but there's no way that this will blow up. This will not harm our consumer. This will not um, harm our luxury customer. And there's no data breach possible, for example. So the worst that could happen indeed was, okay, the small investment that we made from our side, we lose that in the experimentation. So that's kind of it. So it may be a surprise, and the sex sales will be. I had to fight and explain to the board what blockchain was, and I had to explain obviously what it was, what crypto is, and what NFTs are all about, and why it made sense for us to go into it, and why we shouldn't go and launch a virtual pets on the
Yeah.
blockchain and try to sell those. We try to be smarter in that sense and do something else. But as soon as they understood, okay, from a security point of view, there's nothing wrong. From an image point of view, there's nothing that really can go wrong. We're doing things smart, and we try to. It's our one of our favorite things to say. We de-risk the downside. There was nothing really wrong. They said, okay, let's test it, and if it works, let's scale it. We didn't go into it knees deep and invest $1 million up front. So small tests, we learn, we scale further, and if it doesn't work, we stop it or we pivot. And if it works, we scale it up, like we've done now. Christoffel, Level Shoes, and now Soulmates is our bigger play, and then we scale that further, and then in the future we keep on going.
Absolutely, Nick. And one which you did mention at the beginning of this episode is Chalhoub Group is trying to shape the industry as well. Now, keeping that thing in mind, Nick, what advice would you like to give to individuals and fellow business partners who are trying to build things in the cryptocurrency, Web3, and metaverse space?
I think there's two different target groups. So the ones that are building, you have my massive respect. Keep on building, I would say. I think the builders will be rewarded, especially right now. This is the time to continue building. For those that are not building and standing on the sidelines, I would say, yeah, start building something. Start with even YouTubing how to create your first NFT collection, how to buy crypto, tiptoe into it. I think one of the best advices that my best friend gave me was just buy $50 of crypto, and automatically you will start to follow the news about it. Because inherently, there's $50 or back in the days, here 50 euros worth of ETH and Bitcoin. So you will for sure, any new article you will follow. And I thought, yeah, for sure, I did it, and I must say, yeah, the first 3 months, the first app that I opened was my Bitstamp account, and checked how much Bitcoin was at that day. So that would be my advice for people that are not in the space yet. Buy a little bit of crypto, so you follow subconsciously, you will start to follow it. Buy your first NFT. It doesn't have to be a CryptoPunk or a Bored Ape or a Clone X, for sure not. Just buy any type of art or project that you kind of like. Maybe Soulmates could be your first NFT. 0.03 ETH is like $60 right now, so very accessible. And you will start to follow it. You will learn how things go, how these communities are built, how cool it is to be in Discord with fellow enthusiasts around sneakers and others. So that would be my advice.
That is absolutely sound advice. And I do believe when the news was out in ArabNews.com, it did mention $55, and in just a matter of few days, it is already bumped up to $63.
So as store of value, it's a great investment as well, George?
Absolutely. And right now, Nick, Dubai is kind of like the hub for cryptocurrency, blockchain, and Web 3.0. I think what I've noticed is that Dubai is lately turning into a red ocean. Now, having red ocean isn't a bad thing as such. It just means that there are too many companies, too much of competition. But at the same time, Saudi Arabia, they are planning to be the next blue ocean. So are there any plans of possible operations in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, keeping in mind the NFT and metaverse arena?
I think for Soulmates, we are global, so global first even. So it's not even limited to UAE or Middle East or Saudi Arabia. So I would there is a plan to expand across, not even expand. By definition, it's a global project. We launched it during Paris Blockchain Week in Paris. We went to our Soulmates, at least the concept. And then at 12th of April, we were in NFT NYC to reveal the NFT collection. We are headquartered in Dubai, so we have a lot of ambassadors in Singapore. One of our advisors is the Web3 lead at Hype Beast, based in Singapore. We have a lot of ambassadors in Japan, and we work together with a couple of NFT partner communities in Hong Kong. So we're kind of everywhere. But I agree that there's massive potential on the flip side. There's massive potential in Saudi Arabia. A lot of gamers, young generation or young population, mobile savvy, quite big purchase power in Saudi Arabia as well, huge population. So I really believe, obviously, in the potential of Saudi Arabia as a new economic force, just by definition.
Thank you so very much for that. And we are towards the later part of the episode. Now, I have a few questions, keeping everything that you have mentioned. Now, keeping in mind the developments that are currently taking place, what do you envision the future of, let's say, cryptocurrency and metaverse in the next coming decades? Do you think the cryptocurrency world will replace the fiat economy, and the metaverse, do you think that will replace the real world economy? What are your thoughts on that thing?
This is really hard. I think crypto taking over fiat, that might be hard, I think. But it's very hard for me to predict. As I said, I don't like predictions because you're usually wrong about that. As I said, I do believe that we will have digital money. So I 100% believe in digital money. I also believe that in our lifetime, let's be nice and vague here, but in our lifetime, any transaction will be linked to non-fungible tokens. So it will be tokenized. So we will go into a loyalty system that will be on-chain, whether or not that's a public or a non-public blockchain. I 100% believe in that. Plus, product IDs will be something that is unthinkable. So I think 20 years from now we will think about, whoa, we bought handbags and shoes without the product tags, product IDs, without tokens. How crazy was that? How did we even know that these were real items? Just the way that we're looking at today at money and think, why are we still using paper notes for money? This is crazy. Or we're looking at we're looking at telephone books and we're saying that we used to look at telephone numbers in a book to find and I think that will be kind of the same thing. I think the speculative aspect, the whole, let's say, the pure degen will stay very niche. I don't think that, the mass will become very degen. That's absolutely not going to be the case. And I believe that what we're seeing today, all the tech will go behind the curtain. I think hopefully my mother can still experience this, but she will never know that she's interacting with the technology that is blockchain based. Just the same way that she's on her phone now playing Angry Birds, and she doesn't really know that it's on the internet, that servers are talking to each other in the backend. There's also no onboarding. She's not onboarded to the internet. She's using her phone. She's playing a game. She's talking to her friends, and she's using the internet. She's using social media. It will be the same. She will be using the blockchain, and she will be issued non-fungible tokens and using her digital currencies without her really even knowing it.
Absolutely 100% agree on that, Nick. Now, we talked about Chalhoub Group, we talked about soulmates, we also talked about what your stance is in the future of NFTs and metaverse. Now, one thing which stood out to me is when I looked at your Instagram profile, you do have a profile picture of a Spartan race. Now, I'm a brand ambassador for Spartan Race, I'm a brand ambassador for Tough Mudder, and few other fitness-related events as well. And I've looked at your Instagram profile, and I have to say, you're an absolutely fitness freak. And you're definitely in the elite category so far as fitness is concerned. And I think what our listeners should do is, look at your Instagram profile and look at your workout. They're definitely at another level. But tell our listeners, how did you get involved in the fitness space?
Thank you, George. So I'm an addict. So I'm an addict by nature. So I have a very addictive personality, and I need to find something that I can focus that addictive personality towards in a positive way. So for me, that's fitness. I absolutely love it. I love to to self improve. Self improvement is very important for me, whether it's mentally or physically. And just the feeling of a good workout, whether it's bodybuilding or CrossFit or Spartan or anything, I just enjoy it. I love it. How I started, I've always been into sports since I was a kid. I've never been a huge jock. I'm not like for people who are listening and not seeing us. I'm not a huge dude or something. I'm not a football player, let's say. I was a above average soccer player, let's say, but also not better than that. When I, let's say, started climbing up the ranks as a consultant, that kind of sat on the back burner. Didn't really do that much anymore. I kept running a little bit. Did some indoor soccer. But it was when I moved to Dubai that the first 6 months I didn't really do sports for the first time in my life. And I looked in the mirror and thought, oof, all right, last year, the year before I ran a marathon. And then I'm looking in the mirror and like, this is like going downhill pretty quickly. I need to do something. And I at the same time, I kind of was introduced to a new group of friends. They were all into CrossFit. I discovered CrossFit, and yeah, immediately I knew, oh my God, this is it. This is amazing. There's so much to learn. There's so much to improve on. So many crazy different skills. Great feeling afterwards. And I think, as you can hear me talk very passionately about it, I fell in love with it, and until today, I'm doing it every day, and if I can, twice a day even. So.
Absolutely, and I do feel that fitness, definitely helps in work-life balance as well.
Yep.
And I wanted to ask another question is that High Rocks, which is if not one of the biggest fitness events, they are planning to have an event most likely towards the end of this year, and this is done by the same team that manages Spartan Arabia. So are there any plans for you to attend the High Rocks events? And another event which is coming up on the 6th of May is the Hybrid Fusion Race. So what are your thoughts on getting into these events?
Well, I must say, I really don't like running, George. So
No, these
those
are yeah. Okay.
these events are a lot of running. It's weird because you have been a pretty competitive Spartan
Yeah.
competitor, but I must say, I wanted to podium in Spartan race, and I did that in a couple of years back in Oman, so I was third there. For me, I hit the goal, and I thought, okay, I kind of succeeded in what I wanted. The entire season, I was chasing that. Was fifth, sixth, fourth, fifth, sixth, and at the end, I thought this is never going to happen. And then just signed up for a month without real preparation, and then at the last race of the season, got that podium spot, and then I couldn't charge myself anymore for a new season for again the same thing. And then after that, I didn't really go into like the running part of it anymore. I love heavy weights. I love the gymnastics part of CrossFit. So never say never, but very unlikely that I do high rocks or Spartan or anything that has more than 250-meter interval.
I kind of agree to it. Thank you so very much, Nick, for doing this. Really appreciate it. Do you have any final words for our listeners to get to know more about Soulmates and more about what Chalhoub Group is doing in the NFT and metaverse space?
But it's soulmates. The mint happens 4th of May. If you're into sneakers, if you're into Web3, if you are looking for a project that is positively changing the industry, backed by a very big Web2, Web1 luxury player in the Middle East and beyond, yeah, just try to register, join our loudest. It's very accessible at 0.03 ETH. Yeah, I'm looking forward to welcome everyone into our community. All information on soulmates.xyz, and I hope to welcome your listeners to our community, George.
Absolutely, Nick. So what I'm going to do is, in the show notes below, I'll definitely go ahead and mention all the details regarding the launch, all the details for Soulmates, all of the details for the Ambassador program, all of your details, and pretty much everything that listeners needs to know about. So thank you once again, Nick, for doing this. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, George.